So Israel struck Qatar this morning. Let's talk about it. Oh, Qatar is a major non-NATO ally. It's an official designation. It's largely symbolic, but it's also legal. And it certainly doesn't afford the same rights or privileges or protections as being a formal NATO ally. But nonetheless, it's an important designation because it signals to other states, especially our adversaries, that we view Qatar as a strategic and trusted international partner. Not only that, but we also have a naval base in Qatar. One of the things about being a major non-NATO ally is that you have priority when it comes to defense, trade, and technology with the United States. It also is a military cooperation where essentially the United States stockpiles weapons for mutual use between Qatar and the United States. It also means priority for certain loan guarantees for defense purchases. Essentially, Israel, as our biggest ally in the Middle East, striking Qatar this morning is a major security breach in this pact between the US and Qatar. It puts the United States in an extremely compromising position, not only because its integrity is being compromised by its own biggest ally in the region, because it could strain the credibility of the United States security guarantees worldwide. And the United States also relies on Qatar for regional diplomacy and certain energy exports. But they also back Israel militarily. This does also tie back to the war in Ukraine because the United States relies heavily on Qatar for a diversification of liquefied gas, and so does the EU. Now, regionally speaking, this also compromises the integrity of the Abraham Accords. And now Israel can wish any budding normalization agreements with countries in the Middle East, especially in the Gulf, probably goodbye. But it's also just a major breach of international law and highlights Israel's impunity to their bilateral aggressions around the region, which in my opinion is a state that continues to attempt to destabilize the entire region for their own benefit. Qatar has already responded and said that they will not accept these acts of aggression, and the United States Embassy in Qatar has advised all US personnel and citizens to basically shelter in place. So it'll be really interesting to see how or if Qatar responds at all with aggression, or if it's going to be some sort of form of soft power, especially because the United States supplies weapons to both countries. I almost forgot to mention the important part that the Gulf countries have a joint defense agreement together, which commits member support should an act of aggression be